Hello everyone and welcome back to the Forged in Fire campaign right here in Heroes of Might and Magic 3 Horde of the Abyss. It's time to start the next mission, New Order. Castor came to power in Burton. Halflings were declared traitors, so their hope is to return to Earfall, acquire the resources for the voyage home and reach the airship yard to win the scenario. Your heroes are limited to the level 36, that these are necessary, but they will bring the Admiral's hat to the next scenario. Oh, we really dig in that hat, so good thing we got it. Let's right-click the area. Castor came to power in Burton. The Halflings have been outlawed, and now their last hope is to return to their homeland, Eophol. Before heading out on a quest for suitable transport, Henrietta will have to amass the necessary supplies and equipment. So just walking to the corner shop, buying a few resources. We came home with so much loot from the Dagger Wound Islands, right? So this should be easy. So we can start with an Orb of Driving Rain, 4 coattles, or 3 attack skill. My instinct is the attack skill. Because, you know, scaling. Coattles obviously would be nice, but let's go for the attack skill. A vain man counts his riches in gold pieces, a practical one, in hands ready to do his bidding, a truly powerful one, in minds working to bring his plans to life. I now own a whole country of such minds. Maybe it's not a huge one, but all of it is mine. Each one of my subjects dreams of acquiring even a tiny bit of wonders from the tomb for research. It may appear to an onlooker as though I readily make these wonders available, but in fact, I only share the things that are going to serve my interests right now. My only reward for hard work is the permission to cover some more of my needs, yet everyone involved comes out satisfied. Isn't that the pinnacle of man management? All the way back to Jadam, I was looking forward to just one thing. As soon as I got ashore, I would share the glad tidings with every halfling. Tarvin is alive, and that means others are alive too. Someone's family, brothers, friends. We will immediately start preparing a rescue party, and my new experience will help it go much better than my previous one. Years of hard work have paid off, and new airships are faster and more capacious. I've never seen that word before, actually. Now we'll recruit an army of warriors, their hearts burning with justice, and will load up the mighty dreadnoughts. We'll return to Earfall and pounce at the enemy. As they are handcuffed by their war of the heroes of Arathia, we can strike where no one expects us. Rescue everyone, bring them here, and show them how well we've done for ourselves. I couldn't help sharing every detail of my future plans of Winona. Even though she supported me fervently, I think I kind of wore her out with my blabbering. At length the long-awaited day came. Our ship dropped anchor at a little wharf. Cages of exotic animals and boxes full of coatl eggs were unloaded. Neither I nor the other expedition participants could hide our joy. After months of wandering through the wet, muddy jungle, this land felt even more precious to us than before, however scorched by the sun and dull in appearance. Well, it's good that they feel like they're coming home, isn't it? So let's have a quick assessment of our heroes. I would like to point out that when I ended last episode, I forgot to scribe the scrolls, so we did scribe the scrolls. But we have the Admiral's hat on Winona, 7 coattles, 34 acids, and 13 wyvern monarchs. Here in Henrietta, we have 124 halfling grenadiers and 5 crimson coattles. It's a good mix. Seeing as Winona has the Admiral's hat, she might as well just jump into the water and just do these things. There's some equestrian's gloves there. Those will be handy. So you have to, of course, remember that if we need forgetfulness, Winona's our girl. So she could do the gunslingers and the... which wouldn't be needed for the seamen, but maybe for the air elementals. If they're vulnerable to forgetfulness, I forget that, actually. Alright, well, let's start figuring out what we're doing. First off, we have a box of destiny. What's in this box? It contains stuff and treasure. And treasure. Okay then. And stuff. This is the box if you're playing on hard mode, by the way, so it sort of shows that things are a bit in trouble. Do we want Winona to grab the box so she's a more capable hero? I'm thinking the answer might be yes. So let's do that. Let's have Winona grab the box. Excellent. We're certainly very appreciative of those spell scrolls as well. Having extra scrolls of Town Portal will be very useful. And Winona's already revealing some things. We have Murdoch here. Finally Murdoch appears. Of course, I've seen him in the map editor, so I was wondering, you know, when would he turn up? Here he is. Interesting. I believe he also stars in the next campaign. So, you know, who knows if we'll get to that. But, hey. Alright. Let's have Winona trade off to Henrietta. We'll figure out what we're doing. So, being the ranged woman, Henrietta's obviously going to take the Grenadiers. The offense, they both have offense, so it's sort of not the biggest deal which way these go. I suppose we need something nimble for Henrietta to use. Either way, they're going to be on difficult terrain, aren't they? Well, she has leadership, so she can afford to take random stuff, but... I'm also just being aware of it. I don't want to really lose much in the early game. You can have these boots. You can have a scroll. The Emblem of Cogniscience is an interesting thing to be given, because obviously the artifact itself is not relevant, right? But the fact they gave us one shows it's obviously some sort of key. So, you know. Same for this Head of Legion and so on. Like, we don't have a town. Which is a fair point. We might need to find one of those. Do we have adventure map spells? So you just got Visions and Waterwalk. Do you have adventure map spells? Not really. We can summon Boat because of Admiral's Hat. So that's always a thing. Alright, we hop in the boat. Let's do a bit of exploring. Now, one thing to note is that Henrietta doesn't have Resurrection. So that may prove to be a problem if we fight these Silver Pegasi, for example. That they'll just get a free hit off, right? Yeah. Don't know if we actually want that one. So, let's try that again. Let's keep the Crimson Coatls on Henrietta. A, we've actually not ever seen them. And B, we need her to be able to do things and stuff, so... The speed bonus will allow her to just slow the enemy, and then we'll be fine from there. So, we'll take those... Actually, I think we both have Frenzy, don't we? We do. That's useful with Crimson Coatls. Alright. We'll start with this. It's honestly a bit arbitrary which way we do things for now, but... And you can have the boots of pathfinding because you need to deal with these monarchs you've got. So, that'll do. Into your boat. We want to grab all of this loot. As for you, let's grab this sawmill. We've got plenty of money. But now we can actually just drop the slow, right? Yeah. To be honest, the Coatls could probably just handle this anyway. Aren't they pretty? Yep, it's warning us, by the way, you might want to find a town. A fair point. There was a town by the imposing name of Lamiwa on the way, to be our first stop in our trek across Jadam that would bring us... I've not really done this well. Let's try that again. There was a town by the imposing name of Larima on our way, to be our first stop in our trek across Jadam that would bring our grueling expedition to an end. We didn't expect fanfare, red carpets, or any other silly honours for returning travellers. All we dreamed of were hot meals, soft beds, and fresh clothes. Alas, our dreams were dealt an instant blow once we saw the locals' frightened faces. In a flash, the street was deserted. All the shutters on the windows were closed and the doors bolted shut. The town died out. Only the wind played with the tumbleweeds along the road. In one of the doors I saw several posters of yellowed parchment. The first and largest one depicted an ugly halfling of a cross, scowling face like a chewed up pancake. The caption read, "Henrietta, wanted, dead or alive." Other posters were adorned with similarly gut-wrenching faces, and many of the names below them were very familiar to me. Oh dear, we're wanted. Nice to be wanted. A small team of gunslingers appeared from behind the corner. They fell into single file at the end of the street and pointed their guns at us. One came forward. He wore a perfectly ironed charcoal black outfit and a cuirass buffed to a dazzling shine. An odd sight it was. I had never before known a gunslinger so mindful of his appearance. I mean, how could one hope to stay this dapper while riding through the wastelands for weeks, sleeping on bare ground and crawling around amongst pointy rocks and thorny bushes? Apparently, something in their job description and approach to duty had changed while I was away. The overdressed gunslinger spat on the ground and spoke raspily. "Pursuant to Order 6/6 by Supreme Overseer Castor, you are to voluntarily lay down your arms and proceed to the city prison, from where you'll be conveyed to Burton and brought to a fair trial for sabotage and treason." "Treason? We're just back from a long journey. We've been away from Jadam for months, and this Castor of yours knows it full well. There must be some mistake."
"Shut it! Either you give yourself up peacefully, or we will turn in your heads for the promised reward. Since the reward is the same, guess we could practice our marksmanship. What do you think, Girth?"
The mercenary to the leader's right contorted his lips into a cynical grin. Well, if we want to do this without losses, that might be a bit tricky, but we'll see. Do we have Clone? No, we don't. Let's see. Hypnotize? That might do it. Mind you, they don't stop each other from shooting, of course, so... Well, I actually have a solution. Load the game, please. I'm just very concerned about making losses immediately. So what we're going to do is just do... There we go. Certainly still lost one somehow, but... I don't know how, considering, you know, all you need to do is just go over... I suppose what happened is the halflings shot, which meant they got return fired on. Unfortunately, Castor didn't appreciate the fact that we came home with a bit of a special present for him. This Eye of the Magi's, Hut of the Magi is going to be quite useful. Ah, there's a settlement of Larimar. Good to know that's there, otherwise we'll die. And dying is bad, and to be avoided. Can we forgetfulness on you? No. Can we haste on you? We should be fine, shouldn't we? Maybe not. Morale is a problem. Who knows? Clone, then. Well, cloning didn't work. Mind you, clones will attract enemy fire. There we go. We'll just cast Cure. Easy. Protection from water. Or was it air? It was air. Either way. We get the whites. And the sea barrel. There's also over here some sea dogs we could potentially clear. Yeah, let's do that. So, we should be sufficiently equipped for this. Do we need to do any splitting? Maybe do one coatl for kiting. Well, we have resurrection, don't we? Let's just go. I mean, we could do it almost without losses as is anyway. But make him forget. Easy. Forgetfulness for the win. And now I've got the Plate of Dying Light. The goblin you met at the tavern is acting incredibly brazenly, and the reason for that is obviously the luxurious armor in his chest. It becomes quite apparent quickly the offer offers poor protection from a good kick up the bum, that it's still good for something. But how would a goblin know that? Alright, let's gather the treasure. Do we want experience? Yes we do, because we can get up to level 36 in this mission, so... Let's be honest though, that's probably not going to be a problem. So, let's have Henrietta first grab the Hut of the Magi. This will be useful. Revealing many things and stuff. Look at that. It's a map that's large. So I think it's official, isn't it? Yeah, it's large. So, well, who do we have here? So here we've got Ilsingor. It's an interesting name. A dragon with many dragon friends. And a spell scroll. Probably Slayer. What do we have over here? We've got a Shrine of Magic Mystery. Tome of Earth Magic is pretty powerful. Over here we have Rotwang. And Morton. Morton has an army of sorts. It doesn't look that ridiculous. Maybe he gets like event troops that make him stupid. Because like right now it's like, how bad is that? Not that bad. Swarms of enchanters guarding this little stand of trees. That doesn't reveal too much, but I guess it'll be useful to reveal this white monolith. Okay, we've learnt a few things. Let's go and take the town of Larimar, shall we? Well, it's guarded by juggernauts. Wasn't entirely useless, was it? I mean, we can always just go invulnerable, can't we? The difference, of course, of Crimson Coatls is that when they go invulnerable, they can still move. I mean, you're obviously seeing that, but hey, what an impressive display. We are going to get beamed on. Yeah. But hey, cool to actually use the things we have. Behold the town of Larimar. It is a town. It is a very small town. We have no fort. No tavern. We can't build a foundry, watchtower, manufactory, or gantry. What I will say though, I actually really like this design. Because of Factory's whole like diverging creature lineup, in that they've got the mechanical lineup of the foundry, manufactory, watchtower, and gantry units, the human side, and then there's the halfling, armadillo, sandworm, and coatl line. It's like, okay, well, one side is the organic line, so we'll be using the organic units against the mechanical units, which is good storytelling. I like that. It also means, and yeah, obviously we can actually just build the Serpentarium, which is cool. I really like the design of this building. I mean, this is my favourite town. Like, so it's one of those things of it's been out for a few years now, but to me it still feels new and amazing. So it's held out the excitement. So do I build a fort immediately? We can't build many economic structures. We've only got the bank, which is not bad. But we're not in a desperate need for gold right this second, so I don't think it's a first turn build or anything. And we do need the fort to construct any additional dwellings. My instinct is the fort this turn, and we can then tech up to the various creature dwellings and then think about a mage guild. Because we don't need mana right away, but we will need mana eventually, so the mage guild will become relevant in due course. Let's start with the fort. Behold! Well, now that we've beheld that, we can grab some Halfling Grenadiers and be on our way. Excellent. It's good that we're no longer at risk of dying randomly. Whoop, that's the start key. Hopefully that didn't cause any problems. Alright. So, now we can start to explore. Which direction should we explore in? Murdoch here looks like he's guarding this seer's hut. He's certainly easy prey for Winona, let's put it that way. We could just kill him now. Just go through the way rates there. I might like some morale first. So we could grab the gold mine. Like, I expect we're going to need to be fortifying Larimar quite a bit to the point of, like, being able to actually resist the enemy. Well, there's a well here anyway. We don't need a mage guild. So, yeah. Oh, let's get these equestrian's gloves. That's actually a really important thing to do. We'll do that right away. Alright. They begin to scatter, but we will pursue an engagement for the 2000 experience, and then we'll grab our prize. A brief stop at an improbable rural inn yields an exchange of money, tails, and accidentally luggage. You find a magical pair of gloves in your new backpack. Yes, it's very improbable to find a rural inn on the beach, but hey, we have the gloves. So, gold. We have a horde of champions guarding a campfire. Would you want to take the horde of champions on? Probably. We don't want to lose people, though. That would be uncouth. So, let us slow them down and guide them up here. You could one-shot those, right? Oh, no, apparently not. You'll be able to one-shot them going forward. Alright, let's do our invulnerability. Invulnerability. Did you kill one? Nah, you're good. So of course it doesn't steal the retaliation, it just, the enemy won't retaliate on an invulnerable thing, which makes sense. So, we attack here, we'll eat a retaliation. Okay. Well, in this case, let's go invulnerable and come down here. We want to block off these champions from being a problem. We'll cast Bless, probably, I want to say. Or Shield. We'll cast Shield. That'll just really keep these guys nice and sturdy. We'll defend on you. Oh, the luckiest halflings. Oh, don't get morale. Well, time to retreat and try again. I do believe that Henrietta's actually mission critical, this particular mission. Let us slay the enemy. And we shall wait. Excellent. Generally, dogpiling though like this should be good. Alright. Now I'll go for that shield. Ten hit points. Let's go invulnerable and block these people from getting in there. The luckiest. Excellent. The luck coming through again, as it should. We'll just magic arrow that guy. And there we go. The champions are defeated, and we get our prize of some barrels. Gotta watch out for them barrels. Alright, let's now grab the wraiths here. Shouldn't be too difficult. The main annoyance is losing mana, really. Is it worth cloning? Let's do it. There we go. I don't know if we actually saved mana, but we did it. Alright. Well, Murdoch's basically clear, but we'll see if the fight's actually difficult, I guess. Alton is moving. We proceeded cautiously inland, avoiding the big roads and the open countryside. Our ears became our eyes. When you're being hunted, the more eyes the better. I grinned bitterly. I would have loved to have grown a few more pairs, should Agar have been available. As I passed by a ravine, I heard a barely perceptible noise, a sniffle or a snore. I gestured to Winona, urging her to slow down. The elf's ears twitched, and a second later she was pointing in the direction the sound had come from. Silently, like a proper scout, I crept forward toward the ravine at the indicated spot. What I saw was a sad picture. A few haggard, wounded halflings hiding under some dirty, tattered rags. I couldn't see their faces, but their bare heels, covered with sparse grey hair, made my heart beat faster. "Costa, you old rascal, get up! Your pony's gobbled up all the carrots at Milani's again!" Costa jumped up and stared at me in fear. Tears sprang from the old carter's eyes and a cry of horror escaped his chest. But as soon as his purblind eyes recognised my face, he began wailing even louder, this time out of happiness. "Henrietta, is that you? I've had it. So it turns out they find me, and I'm in heaven now." "What are you on about, Costa? It's me. I'm alive, and you're alive. What happened to you?"
"Morton, that damn goblin. So many buds of mine got popped off by his devilish rashmenery. We barely made it out of Rotwang."
"Wait, Morton? He betrayed us too?"
"Aye, lass, him too. Small wonder, you know, for the green-skinned scum he is. When the people started coming from the north with bitter news, we began preparing for a tussle. Even pulled a bit of a ruse, got Morton ambushed and broke a dozen of his shooty things. But the toad-faced freaks still got entrenched in the suburbs. God, just a handful of us militiamen made it out alive, so here we are. There was no way to get back into town, and we went looking for help."
"Don't be scared, old sport. You found it."
"So Rotwang is under siege or has already fallen. Even his letter, the town must have suffered some big damage, so it'll take Molten a while to rebuild its defences."
I did it in Coulter voice, but that was Henrietta thinking. She is considering options. Once safe under our protection, Costa came to quickly. Sure, he didn't get any younger, but he was no longer the pitiful, half-dead, horrified and exhausted creature we had found, hiding in a hole like a rabbit. He told me in detail what had transpired over the last few months. I'd never liked Castor. I sensed something in him that made it hard to believe in the sincerity of his desire to help Burton prosper for the benefit of everyone in Terra Nova, as he never missed a chance to declare himself from the podium. Turns out I wasn't wrong. The man who came from beyond the sea got a stranglehold on everything within his reach. He kept demanding that more ore be mined and procured and that more machinery be built. No one understood why. The halfling's shift became longer and working conditions worse. Many turned to Frederick then, as they had done before, when he was head of the supervisory board for the Associated Burton Works, but the guards wouldn't let them meet him. No one had seen the inventor for weeks. After Castor's arrival, Frederick had started disappearing for long stints, apparently conducting research in laboratories hidden from the prying eyes. These not needed. Now it felt as though he had vanished for good. It seems that no one knew where he was, except for the warlock. When the first disgruntled workers went on strike and dropped the steam hammers, demanding a renegotiation of the collective bargaining agreement, Castor led his mercenaries in wide-brim hats and long cloaks at them, brutally suppressing the protest.
Those fellas weren't ours. Pig knows where the blasted sorcerer pulled them guys out of, Costa said.
However, Castor's reaction only gave the halflings more fuel. They had long learnt to fight back when someone tried to take away what they had come to regard as their own. Soon most of the factories were halted, many of the machines were broken, and my brethren began setting up militias. They'd catch the mercenaries and beat the hell out of them wherever they could. They covered the walls with graffiti calling to throw the uninvited guest from Deja off the throne he had made himself, without regard for the opinion of those who never wanted any kings or sovereigns in Burton or the other free cities. Then Castor outlawed every last halfling. Some got shackled to their machines, others thrown into the dungeons. Those whom his bandits could not lay their hands on were hunted down. I, as the alleged leader of the rebelling people, was charged in absentia with instigating sabotage and organising riots. Well, that's all very troubling. Castor, turns out, wasn't a good friend. But, I know, there was something off about him immediately, wasn't there? Poor Frederick, though, he obviously was a good character for us, but I have the feeling he's not coming back. The hint for me is the fact that in Tomb Raiders, his level was unlimited, which is only happens when it's the last mission for a character, so it's well, it is what it is. Thank you for watching. When we come back next time, more New Order.